Here's how Citadel deals with multi-tenancy using organizations. Each organization in Citadel is like its own unique entity with its own set of users, projects, applications, and access management settings. When an organization is created in Citadel, it's given a unique identifier, and you can set up your own branding and customized login options. You can add users within each organization, and these users can be assigned roles and authorizations for projects and applications that the organization owns. In Citadel, a project is a collection of applications, and each project can have different roles. These roles can be assigned to users in the organization, giving them certain authorizations for the applications tied to the project. The interesting part is that organizations can connect with each other in a business-to-business context. For example, an organization can share a project with another organization using something called a grant. This could be a portal application that an organization wants to share with its partners and let them manage their own access. Organization grants enhance Citadel's multi-tenancy capabilities and allow collaboration and delegation of user management between organizations. Let's dive into a practical example of how a service provider can implement Zitadel's multi-tenancy capabilities to manage both B2B and B2C customers. Our scenario features a fictitious service provider named Demo Service Provider. Demo Service Provider offers 4 key applications: warranty, portal, data, and data cube. The data application collects information from IoT devices, while the data cube application utilizes this data to provide advanced analytics. Portal serves as the customer interface, and warranty manages product warranties. For B2B customers, such as other businesses leveraging their data services, Demo Service Provider creates individual organizations within Citadel. Each of these organizations can maintain their users, whether they are local accounts or integrated from other identity providers. Demo Service Provider then grants access to portal and data cube applications through an organization grant. This allows each B2B customer to manage their users and permissions independently, enjoying self-service capabilities. For B2C customers or individuals who need to access these apps, Demo Service Provider employs Zitadel's self-service registration and user management features. Then they have the option to keep their B2C users right inside their main organization. That's the Demo Service Provider organization. But wait, let's think a little bit more about that. If they created a separate organization for the B2C users, then their main organization can be used for their internal users or employees with their own identity provider and stricter controls like enforced multi-factor authentication. And in the separate B2C organization, they can offer more user-friendly options like social logins and make multi-factor authentication optional, and so on. So the idea is to separate your B2B and B2C users into their own organizations within Citadel. That way you can give each group the authentication and security experience they need. So let me show you these Citadel capabilities in a demo. Go to ZITADEL.com and click on Start for Free. You will now be taken to the customer portal. You need to create an account in the customer portal in order to create a Citadel instance on Citadel Cloud. If you have already created an account, go ahead and log in. If you have logged into your account previously, you will see your username in the Citadel account picker. Select your username and enter your password and click on Next. And now you can create a Citadel instance. Click on Create New Instance and fill in this field with an instance name. And then choose the free tier and click on Continue. Next, you need to add a manager or a first user for your instance. You are already the default user. If you want to change that, you can go ahead and add another user. I'm going to go ahead with this current user of mine, and I'm going to add in a password and confirm the password, and then click on Create. Citadel is currently creating the instance for me. And there you go. Your instance has been created. So your instance holds one or more organizations, and you can configure the instance to set global configurations such as steps for multi-factor authentication or language, etc. Or you can create organizations in an instance and set configurations at the organization level. So to configure your instance, click on Visit to go to the instance. And before all of that, you need to log into the instance first. So add in your password and click Next. And you can set up two-factor authentication, but we will skip this step. So click on Skip. And now you can get started with configuring your instance. So what we're trying to do is we want a service provider, that is the ABC service in this case, to let their customers, which are also other organizations, access the portal application provided by the ABC service. So this is a typical B2B scenario. So ABC service has its internal users to manage the service, and they can set up different projects. A project is basically a shared security context. So that could mean it contains one or more apps, and the project will have the same set of user roles and applications. So to let the customers use this portal project of the ABC service, you can use organizations and project grants in Zitadel, which we will learn about in a moment. So for each of ABC's customers, they could set up an organization, and each organization can have their own users. So let's see how this is done. First, create an organization to hold the portal application. So go to the root organization here and click on New Organization. I'm going to call this new organization Demo Vendor and click on Create. So now let's create a project and an application in the Demo Vendor organization. So go to the organization, go to Projects, click on Create New Project. Let's call it Portal and click Continue. Now you can add a new application. So click the New button, enter a name for this app and select Web as the type of application and click on Continue. Choose Pixie, which is the recommended authentication method, and click on Continue. So for the redirect URI, type in http://localhost:/API/auth/callback/Zitadel. And for the post logout URI, just going to add just localhost 3000 and click on Continue. You can review your configuration, and if everything is in order, click on Create. Your client ID is displayed here, and you will need this later. Click on Close, and on the application detail page, click on Redirect Settings and enable development mode. This will allow your application to work with HTTP, and then click on Save. So the app is updated. Also, to read the user data and roles from the ID token, you must go to Token Settings and make sure that both checkboxes user roles inside ID token and user info inside ID token are selected, and click Save. And your application is updated. So next up, we need to add roles to the project. So to set up the needed roles for our project, navigate to the portal project. Go to the project and click on roles. click new. I'm going to add the role admin with the display name administrator. And I'm also going to add another role. The key is reader, the display name is also reader. And I will save these two roles. Now in the general section of the portal project, make sure to enable assert roles on authentication, because this makes sure that roles which are used by the application to enable UI components are set in your OIDC ID token. And click on save. The portal web application calls a few Citadel APIs. So to make the application work, you need a service user to fetch granted projects and user grants from Citadel. We'll cover what those are in a bit. In the demo vendor organization, navigate to users and click on service users, click on new, and we will create a new user. Let's add the username as Next.js and give the same name and click on create. On the detail page of the service user, navigate to personal access tokens. So a personal access token is a ready-to-use token which can be used with the authentication header. It is an alternative to using JOT profile authentication or client credentials to obtain a token. So let's create a new personal access token. Click on new. You can set an optional expiration date if you want. I'm going to leave it blank. And click on add. So you need to copy the generated access token because you will need this later. Copy it to the clipboard and click on close. Next, we need to give manager permissions to the service user at the project and organization levels. So go back to the portal project and click on the portal project and click on this add button on your right. Select Next.js and we have to select project owner viewer as the manager role and click on add. To add the user as an organization manager, go to the organization, click on the plus button here and select the service user and select org project permission editor as the manager role. Alright, so what we want to do next is configure our Next.js web application to use ZITADEL. So the Next.js application is the portal project that we wish to share with other organizations. So to do that, first you will have to clone the project which is hosted on GitHub. So you can go to this link which I have provided in the description below, and you must copy the URL to clone this GitHub repository. Once you've copied the URL, you can open a terminal or go to your IDE and open the terminal there. So I'm going to open the terminal in VS Code and I will clone the project to this location. You can see all the files over here. Now I will navigate to the root folder, and next we need to create a text file to add all the values that we need to work with ZITADEL. So create a text file called .env.local. And there you go. And let's go back to the GitHub and you will find these values over here. Copy this section and add it to your file. All right, so let's start filling in these values. Next.url is the base URL of this demo application. You can leave HTTP localhost 3000 as it is. Next public ZITADEL issuer is the URL to your ZITADEL instance. So when you're using ZITADEL Cloud for this demo, you can find the domain of your ZITADEL instance in the ZITADEL console. So let's go to the console, and right now we are under organization. We need to go to the application. So go to projects, go to portal, go to portal web, and under URLs you will find the issuer URL. So this is what we need. Copy that to the clipboard and paste it here. Next we have the Citadel API, which is the URL of the management API, which is also the same as the Citadel issuer URL. So let's add this issuer URL here as well. All right, so next we need the organization ID. To find the organization ID, you need to go to organization and working with the demo vendor organization. So we need the resource ID of the organization. So copy that and paste the organization ID here. Next, we need the project ID. Go back to the console and go to projects, go to portal, and we need the project ID, which is the resource ID of the portal project. Copy that and paste it here. Next, we need the client ID of our application. So go to portal web, and under configuration you will find the client ID. So you need to copy that and paste the client ID here. Next, we need the service account access token, which is the personal access token we created for the service user. When it appeared initially, you should have copied it because the personal access token will not be visible to you again. So I have my personal access token saved on a file. I'm going to copy that and add it here. And you can leave this next.secret as it is. Don't forget to save the file. So let's try to run this sample. Make sure you have Node.js and Yarn installed in your machine. Okay, so let's install the dependencies first. And to do that, type and execute yarn install. You can see that the packages are being installed. Okay, so then to run the development server, you can either run npm run dev or merely yarn dev. So I'll go ahead with yarn dev. Yeah, so now we can go to localhost 3000 and see what that looks like. So this is what the application looks like. So you can log in. So I'm going to go ahead with my existing account. This portal basically shows a customer organization, the projects granted to them by the demo vendor organization. A user of the customer should see all granted projects in the portal, and an admin user of the customer should see a list of the customer's users. I just logged in as a user from the vendor organization, right? And also because we hadn't created any customer organizations or granted any projects, I won't see anything here yet. So let's move on to creating a customer organization. Let's go back to the Zitadel console and create a new organization. The easiest way to create an organization is to use the organization drop down on the top left. So here, so you can create a new organization. Let's call it demo customer and click on create. Right, so you can see that the ABC service, which is a default organization, has a demo vendor organization which contains the project with all the applications that we will be providing to our customers. And demo customer is the first customer organization that we created in this demo. So next we will have to go to the demo customer organization. You can see that we have switched from demo vendor to demo customer. So we have to create a new user in this organization. So what you have to do is go to users, click on the new button, and let's create a new user. I'm just going to tick this box and say that the email was verified, and also set the initial password for this user. And I'm going to provide a password, confirm the password, provide the gender and the language. We can provide a phone number and create the user. I'm going to create a second user as well. So go back to users and click on new again, and I'm going to provide the user details here. And create the user. Next, we want to enable Alice to assign roles to users in her organization in a self-service way. So to make this happen, we need to give Alice a manager role within the organization. So navigate to organization and click on the plus sign on the top right and give Alice the manager role org owner, and click on add, and now Alice has been added as a manager. So you can log in with Alice's credentials to validate the setup. So let's do that. I will log in with another account. The login name is Alice_admin. Click on next, provide the password, click on next. You can skip the two-factor authentication, and because Alice's password was set by an administrator, Alice now should change her password. So let's do that and click on next, and the password was changed successfully. Click on next, and if you go to organization, or if you go here, you can see that Alice only sees her organization, and there are no projects created yet, and she can view the users in the current organization. Now we need to create a project grant, and to do that you need to switch to the demo vendor organization, but we have logged in as a user from the customer organization. So first log out and log in as the administrator from the vendor organization. Right. So before we create a project grant, that is what we're trying to do is we are trying to let the organization demo customer use the portal project from the demo vendor organization. So first of all, let's copy the primary domain of the demo customer organization and switch organizations by going to demo vendor, and here you need to go to projects, select portal, go to grants, and we are going to create a new project grant. So click on new and paste the domain you copied earlier, and click on search organization, and you will see that the grant is created for demo customer. Click on continue. You can select all these roles or a subset of them to add to the grant. I will select all of them for this demo and click on save. Now that we have granted the project from the demo vendor organization to the demo customer organization, we can go to the demo customer organization to view the granted project. Navigate to projects, and you can see there aren't any owned projects. So go to granted projects, and here you can see the portal project. Go to the portal project, and the only thing left to do now is to create the necessary authorizations for this project. So you can create a new authorization here. So let's choose, we have to select a user first. Let's select Alice first. Click continue. And I'm going to give the roles reader and admin to Alice and click on save. I'm going to create another authorization for the user Eric. And I will only select the role reader for Eric. And you can click on save. And you can see that we have created the necessary authorizations here. As far as configuration goes, that was it. So let's go to the portal application and see what we can view here. So let's log out of the application and log in as Eric, maybe. So let's click on other user, Eric employee, and click on next. Provide the password, and Eric will also have to reset his password. Click on skip. Yes, let's reset the password quickly and click next. Next again. Okay, so here you go. You can see that the organization selected is demo customer, and the portal project is a granted project that Eric also can view, and Eric has the role reader for this application and the organization set above. At the same time, you can see that Eric doesn't have access to view the authorizations because he doesn't have admin rights. So this goes on to show you how the web app uses the role to implement permissions. Let's see how it works for Alice, who has the role admin. Right, so let's log out and log in as Alice. You need to provide the password. And you can see that Alice also has access to the portal granted project, and Alice has the roles admin and reader for this project. You can also see that Alice can access the authorizations. Basically see all the user grants of the project. So you can see how teams can be managed in your web app itself by leveraging the roles. Furthermore, you can also go ahead and maybe create another project and see how that shows. So before we go to demo vendor, let's go to the demo customer organization page and copy the primary domain. Now we can go to demo vendor, right, and go to projects and create a new project. Let's call that test project and click on continue. We don't have to create an application. Let's just go to grants directly and click on new, paste the domain, search the organization. So this probably gives you an idea of how you can do service discovery with ZITADEL, right? And the grant is created for demo customer. Now click on continue. There aren't any roles that we created that we want to add to the grant, so that's okay. Click on save. And you will see that demo customer has been granted this project. So go to demo customer, go to projects. Now you will see that there are two granted projects, that is portal and test project. So let's go to the B2B demo and log in as Alice. Right, so now you can see that both portal and test project are visible to Alice, and these are the granted projects from demo vendor to demo customer. So that brings us to the end of this demo. I hope you now have an understanding of ZITADEL's unique approach to multi-tenancy and B2B collaboration. So one of the main highlights was the organization grant, which enables service providers to offer their services to their customers without duplicating the projects. And the other one is self-service capabilities for B2B customers, which allow customers to configure certain aspects of authentication as required. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos.